Hello, hello. Just give people a couple minutes to show up and get comfortable. If you are new to me and you're not part of my world, please say hi below. I'd love to meet you. And for old friends, if you've been familiar with my work for some time, also say hello because we're friends. I don't want to hear from you. Um, so today I'm really excited about this topic. Okay, we're going to talk about how a woman can get her needs met in marriage and how she can do that regardless of what her husband is up to. Now, I do want to start by saying I'm talking to women who know they've got a good man, not just any old guy, but a good man. He's loyal, he's hardworking, he is someone who she values and respects. However, she's like, it's not quite there. Like, there's just something missing, and maybe the passion's gone, or maybe the friendship is kind of stale, or maybe you don't even have any fun together anymore. And you're like, ugh, this feels like a slog. Like, is this really what it's supposed to be all about, right? So, if you're that woman, this is for you. This is how to get to that next level. It's how to feel the love, the devotion, the security, the peace, the passion, the playfulness, the hope and excitement about your marriage. Now, do you feel all those things all the time? No. Actually, one of the keys is to be able to feel all your emotions. We'll get to that a little bit later. But what I want you to know is that as a woman, a man can do this too, but I'm speaking only to the women today, you have the power to transform the dynamic in your marriage without your husband reading books, going to therapy, sitting down and having a big hash out with you. You have the power to do that. And that's because you're in a dance and you both have steps to play. So I'm going to talk to you today about what are some key ways that a woman can change her steps in order to get her needs met, in order to feel how she needs to feel in that marriage. Because as women, that's what it comes down to. We are looking for that heart connection, that depth, that intimacy of being seen, heard, and understood and desired. And there's actually a big role that we can play in receiving that, which is, to me, the best news ever. Okay. Now, if you've never met me before, you might be thinking, who is this woman? Why do we listen to her? What's her story? I'm a love and marriage coach for women. And my story is how I learned to help women. So I had this time in my marriage where I was feeling not so hot about it. I won't go into detail right here. I have more about that in my personal Facebook group. But basically, I was like, this is a good man. I think I'm a pretty good woman. Why is this so hard? Why is there so much friction? What is it that makes it so difficult to create and sustain a truly amazing relationship over time with children through all the stuff of life, right? And so I created my coaching method and my group, which is called the Real Life Love Story. And my perspective is that women can experience exactly what they're looking for in marriage with the kids, with the stress, with the drama of regular life. Because what really troubled me about a lot of the relationship advice when I was searching is it was like, you need day nights, you need to go for weekends, you need to do all this stuff. And I was like, I got infants, I got toddlers, like we're barely getting a shower in here. And so my approach is to go deep, to go inside, so that you can feel that dance in the kitchen kind of relationship. You can have the giggles over top of the stress. You can feel like you can really lean into your man and he's got you. And that can all happen. And it does all happen in the midst of your regular life because we're here, we have a lot of competing tasks and allegiances and whatnot. So I created my real love method that I've used to help myself and my clients transform their marriage. And it's something that people find me and go, oh, that woman resonates with me. I like her. She makes sense. And then we do this work together. One of the most important things about choosing a coach or a therapist or what have you is personal resonance, because the likelihood of you having success with that person has everything to do with if they fit you and if it's a good match. So keep that in mind as you meet these different relationship coaches or life coaches as you do on the internet. Okay, so that's my story. So I'm going to talk about how you can get a really loving, beautiful relationship. Okay, and I'm going to give you 3 steps for that. The first step is to get real with yourself. Okay. When we're struggling in our marriage, it's so easy to turn all our focus on him and be like, oh, he won't do this for me. He won't do that for me. He's not making me feel like this and blah, 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 right? We're just focusing on him. And we get so much up in our heads that we have lost the connection and intimacy with ourselves. Now, maybe we never had that connection and intimacy with ourselves, but odds are good that childbearing or child rearing broke some of that connection. You lost that connection to yourself. But also that being in a relationship that's troubled can have you feeling disoriented and lost. So the first step is to hone back into yourself and create a loving, romantic, sensual, beautiful relationship with you. Okay. Now it might seem like, oh, when would I do that? How would I do that? That overcoming that sense of scarcity, that there's no time for you, is essential. Because if you can't find time for you, why would he find time for you? Your whole energy is there's no time for me, there's no energy for me. Do my desires for these beautiful moments, they don't really matter. They're not really as important as the practical matters of life, right? And if you want to experience amazing love where you matter, you have to start by making yourself matter, and particularly to make your feelings matter, to make your heart matter. Okay. So that means your sadness matters, your fear matters, your anger matters, your happiness matters, and your joy matter. Okay, how do you make a feeling matter? We go deep dive into this in my programs and in my one-on-one coaching, but essentially what that means is you hold space for yourself. Okay, you be with yourself. You listen to yourself, you feel, you allow the sensations of those emotions to move through your body. You breathe with them, you talk to yourself, you honor deeply every single emotion. Okay. This is not that easy to do for many of us, otherwise we'd all be doing it. But your difficulty in doing this will be your teacher of where you're blocked from receiving from your husband. Okay. The other thing that you need to make matter is to make your dreams matter. So be the first person to honor yourself in the ways that light you up from the inside and the outside. So what I mean by that is that know what you desire, know what you long for, and then create that. Be like, yes, it matters that you want to ride horses on the beach. Yes, it matters that you want to take a dance class, or you want to learn flower arranging, or you want to, undertake a new skill or a new hobby or new friends. Like, all those things are deeply important. They really, let me tell you how much they matter. If you want to have the connection with your husband, you got to start by taking yourself deadly seriously. Your stuff matters, okay? The second step is to trust and accept your man, okay? Truly trust him. Truly accept him. Knowing he's not perfect and makes mistakes. Knowing he has his wounds and his flaws. But putting all that aside, in your acceptance and choosing to share your openness, your appreciation, and your vulnerability with him. Okay. And you're doing this even when it's scary. I want you to sit with that for a minute. What comes up for you when you're like, whoa, I'm sharing all of it with him? He's not going to hold it. He's going to react. He's going to give me advice. He's not going to respond the way I want him to. Oh, the fear comes, right? And that's the contraction at the closing. As long as we're protecting ourselves, we are blocking love. Okay, so that is a very important aspect, to trust him and to accept him. He is not perfect. He doesn't have to be perfect. And you are not perfect. And you don't have to be perfect either. All right, we're human. And then the third thing is to find a mentor. Okay. There are very few good models of love in most of our environments. I polled my audience recently on how many examples of marriages they admired did they know of. And I was said, people who've been together a while, they've got kids, etc. Now, I added the kids part not because you need kids to have an amazing marriage, but because kids put that extra strain on it, right? And I wanted to see they'd come through that. And there were a couple people who had many examples. Most of them were in their 50s or 60s. And most of the younger peoples had one or no examples. No examples. So you have this idea of how marriage could be, and you're not even sure it's real. You're not even sure it's possible. You've never, ever seen it before. So unless you have a mentor, someone who has gone ahead of you and actually transformed her marriage, experienced that marriage leap and gone, wow, this is possible, and is enjoying that marriage, it's going to be very, very hard for you to know how to get there, right? It's going to be very, very hard for you to trust that it's even possible. So this could be a book, this could be a process, this could be a person, this could be a group. There are a lot of great resources out there, but you need to take the leap and use one of them. And what I mean by that is a process that you really trust, that you're like, okay, I'm gonna trust the process, I'm gonna engage this. Because otherwise our fear pops us out of it. We try a little bit and we go, that's not working. I knew it wouldn't work, whatever. Forget, it's good enough. It's good enough. I don't want to rock the boat. Sister, you're gonna be rocking the boat. If you want change, it requires rocking the boat. Once you get used to that, rocking the boat's not so bad anymore. Okay, so I think you've seen out there that the nuclear family is in a state of disintegration. All right. It's not normal to stay together. It's even less normal to stay together and adore being together. You need advanced skills and support to create your real life love story. Now, if you're already doing it, great. You don't need anything, but you're an outlier. Okay. Congratulations to you. And please share your wisdom with others. But most people don't have anyone to look to. I did not have anyone to look to. Now that I have an amazing marriage, I can kind of spot them out there. Like I have a bit of radar for like, okay, that's a real one. But also because so many people invite me into their personal world, I know that a lot of marriages that look all right are not all right? Appearances can be deceiving. So having people who open up and say, this is the stuff we've worked through, this is how we do it, it's incredibly valuable and it's just very hard to find. Okay. My clients, when they work with me, they see a change 4 to 6 weeks, a big change. And they're kind of like, how was that easy? I was like in crisis mode. It was so hard, right? And it's because when you have your dark days and you feel hopeless and you feel fear that your needs might never be met, maybe you made a mistake, you have a rope to hold on to and you have a foundation to stand on. When you have a mentor, when you have a coach, when you have a friend or an elder couple who are going to say, hey, we know where you're at. We can shine the light on this path. You're getting there. You're doing it. Otherwise, you can just circle in those same old eddies of despair and conflict. Okay. I want to ask you if you notice that every single piece of advice I gave you today is something that you can do without your husband's involvement. Okay. You didn't have to convince him. You didn't have to persuade him. You didn't have to drag him along, right? Part of the reason what I do works so well is I stop you from trying to drag him anywhere. Dragging your husband places is not good for the passion. It's not good for your connection. He needs to be free to be where he's at and how he is today. That's something you want to hang on to, okay? When you stop trying to change him, then he has room to breathe, okay? Oh, I can be me. Maybe I'm not perfect. Maybe I make mistakes, but I have room to be me. This piece of acceptance is so critical. So comment below. What were your takeaways from today? What was it that you went, yeah, that's true. That's something I need, okay? I want to leave you with hope. It is so possible for you to have that amazing marriage when you start from like a good enough marriage or like, it's not great, but like, it's okay. From that place, you have a foundation launching pad to go to the moon. You really do, okay? And it's so worth having because once you have a peaceful, secure marriage, there's no drama. I mean, sometimes there's drama. We all go there some days, but there's very little drama sapping your energy. You have more peace and confidence and energy to parent your kids, to work your job, to do your community service, to expand, to heal. One of the things that has been the greatest gift for me of the healing in my marriage is now I am going deep. Now I have the safety and the nest, to explore deep within myself, to expand, to take risks on who I want to be and how I want to express myself in the world. And that is because I'm not fighting with my husband every day. That is because I know that our container and our connection is rock solid. Okay. I just want every woman to have that. So if you want access to my weekly videos and you're not a part of my Facebook community yet, please come join me. I'll be providing more content on how conscious, high-achieving women can really create that same level of joy and success in their connection, even if their husband's not really into reading the books, not really into the conscious stuff, and even struggles to communicate. You can still create that, okay? And if you're like, no, I'm ready, I need this now, like this is the right moment, and you want to connect with me, just message me. I have a couple spots for one-on-one coaching right now, and I also have a program you can do called Happily Married Women if you want to dive in right away. Okay. I feel so happy that we have spent this time together and so honored to be in the presence of other women who are taking the responsibility for their own desires and saying, if this is what I want, I'm going to take action on that. Okay. I'm inspired by your commitment. And I just am so excited for the limitless possibilities for each of us. All right. If you want to get to know me better, don't be shy. Hit me up. We can chat. All right. Have a really good evening. Bye-bye.